Alright, we're about to take a Unit 1 exam, and so I'm going to go through some of these topics that you need to know about, kind of do a virtual review session here. The first topic on our list is modal mixture and mixture pivot modulation. So let's start with modal mixture. Here is a passage from Schumann's Ich grole nicht from Dichterliebe, and I've left a blank here because there's an important mixture chord. Now, if you were starting afresh and you didn't know that this was having to do with mixture, you'd still have some really good cues from the score. First is this flat in there. When you see something lowered like that, it's often because of modal mixture. This is scale degree 6 and it's lowered. That's one of three things that can be lowered. We can lower 6, 3, and 7. All those we're thinking of as being borrowed from the parallel minor. That also has an effect on the chord, so let's take into consideration the whole chord. We've got D, F, A flat, and C. In other words, we have a 2 chord, because we're in C here. We have a 2 that's been altered, and we're borrowing then not only that scale degree, but the quality of the chord that you get in minor. That's a 2 half diminished 7. Has a very distinctive sound, and it helps portray some things about the text. It says, Ich grole nicht, I'll not bear a grudge, even if my heart, und wenn das Herz, my heart, auch bricht, that's breaks. So even if my heart is breaking, that idea comes into play here, and in particular the word heart, which is breaking. And notice all the emphasis that comes to that note. The melody rises to that place and then moves down. It's a peak, a high point in the melody. Just the fact that that is the note that's borrowed is a big deal right there. So it's emphasized by its height, by the fact that it's special, since it's borrowed and unexpected in a way. And also you can look at the bass line, how it moves down. So the nadir, the low point of the phrase in the bass happens right there at that spot. There is a lot of emphasis given to that special moment. Notice the length of this note. It's held really long before it finally resolves. It's held so long that the chord is already changed. It becomes a ninth above this G, the 5 chord, and you get a 9/8 suspension. It's a flat 9 going down to the octave. In other words, it's so long that it becomes a suspension and then resolves. And all those things, the length, the fact that it becomes so dissonant with the bass and has to resolve, all that calls attention to this one moment and helps express the idea that this art is at the breaking point. And a beautiful sound too, to just hear that half diminished sound. So we've got C major, go to the 4/6, put it in the position, go to the 2 half diminished, and we've got Herz auch bricht. And boy, do you feel the pain in that moment. Mixture is great for text expression. It just adds a whole bunch of new colors to your palette for a composer. So that's the power of mixture. Now, it's not always this heart-rending, sentimental type of feelings that such chords can portray. It can also be pretty powerful emotions, not teary-eyed sort of emotions. But if you were to go to here, that's a flat 6. I'm having to borrow. I'm playing in C major there, and playing an A flat major chord. That's a pretty powerful kind of a sound. So it really depends on how it's used in the context. In this context, Il Trovatore by Verdi, we're in Act 2. This is scene number 11, and in this situation, Manrico is sort of steeling himself to murder somebody, to kill. I think it's the Count. And he says, yes, I swear, yes, this dagger I will sheathe within his heart. So he's He's trying to build resolve to do this terrible thing and stab someone. And in this, you get quite a bit of mixture, at least here. This is toward the end of this duet. Let's just start right here. You've got a 1 chord in C, so we're in C again. Somehow that happened. I was not chosen for this example. Was not chosen to keep us in C by any means, but here's the mixture. Now remember this on the other side. We had a 2 chord, which is serving as a predominant. Here we're going to get a 4 chord, which in some cases can be predominant, but look at what it's doing here. It's pulling you right back to tonic. Hope you can see that. When a 4 goes to tonic like that, it's plagal, and the flat 6 borrowed right here, and in the female part, you've got the flat 6 resolving down. When you get that kind of motion, it just enhances the drive of the 4 chord to move back to tonic. In other words, it can bring you that scale degree 5, the scale degree flat 6 going to 5. That motion can enhance the motion of a predominant to the dominant, but it can also enhance the motion into a tonic, because both 5 and 1 have scale degree 5 in there. That means that we can do this progression, which takes basically a C chord and goes to a 4 and back. Instead of hearing that bright sound, now we get this, and you can see how that's very appropriate for this dark mood that he's trying to set in his own heart to build that resolve to kill. That happens again here. Another plagal minor 4 mixture, but now it goes somewhere new. Here we're borrowing flat 3, so E flat, accessible through borrowing from the parallel minor, and we're borrowing B flat, flat 7, to create this chord, flat 3. We've lowered the root and built a major triad on top of it. You can still think of it as tonic, a tonic substitute. And then here we've got A flat, C, and E flat. We have flat 6 then. We're building a major triad on the lowered scale degree 6. And then that goes to 5. Okay, so we could think of this as plagal function going to tonic, plagal again going to tonic substitute, and then the 6. There's some motion up above here, which I should probably show too. 5, 6 motion above that 6. That helps take care of some voice leading issues when you move from 6 to 5. That makes the 6 predominant. Go to the dominant. It'll actually move back through here. This gets rather complicated in there. There's a tonicization of 2, and I'm just going to leave that because this is the mixture part. And I'll put up a recording so you can hear the power of these chords. You can see it's sequential here, and that really helps. As he's sort of steeling himself, it moves up a third and up a third. So you can see the voice leading pattern here, this 5-6 motion, is replicated over here, now up a third, and in each case it's going down a step. So just look at the sequential nature of this and listen for that. But even though it's rising, normally when you rise you maybe use a leading tone to get up to the next step or something like that. Here everything's lowered. So as he's moving upward, it's got a certain heft and weight to it. So again, the use of mixture adds greatly to the whole palette of sounds available to the composer. And I highly recommend listening to this phrase. And also going beyond what we talked about, because there's a wonderful climactic moment that comes up there. This is a 4-6-4, just to prime you if you get curious and want to look at that. That does resolve up here. You'll see the resolutions right up here. The 6 and the 4 come down, but he pulls the bass out from under you, so it's not like a typical pedal 6-4. And that's challenging to deal with. He turns it into a 5/7 of 2, and then approaches the cadence here through a dominant 5, just 6/4, and then a 5/7 to 1. So I encourage you to look at that, but I'm going to stop right there because we've dealt with the mixture.